Hello students, I'm Dr. Himanshu Kanpal, Assistant Professor English, Government MS College for Women, Bikaner. Today we are going to study the poem The Solitary Reaper written by William Wordsworth. But first of all, we are going to study the introduction to the poet William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was born at Cockermouth and was educated at Hogshead and Cambridge. As a young man, he undertook a walking tour of France and Italy and was deeply influenced by the ideals of the French Revolution. Later, in collaboration with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, he published lyrical ballads, with which began the Romantic revival in English poetry. Wordsworth is not only the initiator but also a leading poet of the movement. His many poems and sonnets are devoted to the description of the beauty of nature. He believes that all the people are suffering in the world because they are unable to cultivate the habit of loving nature. That's why Wordsworth is known as a poet of nature and of man. Fate favored him with a comfortable, leisurely life so essential for verse writing. Now we are going to move to the introduction of the poem The Solitary Reaper. The poem Solitary Reaper was composed in 1805 and was first published in 1807, and it was written when the poet was wandering with his sister Dorothy in the hills and valleys of Scottish Highlands, where he got inspiration from a lovely peasant girl reaping and singing in the field. The sight was pleasing, and the sad song appeared enchanting and more moving than the songs of nightingales and cuckoos. The poet tried to get at the meaning of the song, which he did not understand. It might be about the things long past, like battles or some unhappy events. It might be about some matter of common sorrow that had happened and might happen again. The sight and song have made a deep impression on his mind, and it will stay in his memory for long. Thus, it is a thoughtful poem of man and nature, where Wordsworth exhibited his poetic talent and created a melancholy atmosphere and beauty of female figure. The poem is characterized by romantic images, sweet music, melancholic atmosphere, and beauty of female figure. We are going to start the poem. Behold her single in the field, yon solitary Highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. Behold means to see. Highland girl. Her, behold her. Her means Highland girl working in the field. Single, lonely, and this field is the cornfield. Solitary means without companions. Lass means girl. Reaping, it means she is cutting the harvest. So, in these opening lines of the poem, the poet sees a Highland girl. She is cutting the crop in the field with her sickle and at the same time singing a melodious song. There are no other companions to help her in her work. She is reaping and singing by herself. Stop here or gently pass. The poet asks a passerby not to disturb the girl by going near her. He asks him either to pass gently or stop at distance and listen to the song of the girl. Alone she cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. The Highland maiden's song is sorrowful. Melancholy, it means sorrowful. Strain means song. Vale means valley. Profound means very deep. Overflowing, it means resounding. So, the Highland maiden's song is sorrowful. The whole valley is resounding with the song of the girl. Now we are going to move to the second paragraph. No nightingale did ever chant more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the furthest Hebrides. The poet says in this paragraph, the poet says that the song sung by the girl is sweeter than that of the nightingale, which was sung to welcome the tired group of travelers to an oasis in the Arabian desert. So, when the poet sees a highland girl all alone the farm, busy cutting the crops and at the same time singing, he feels that her sweet voice surpassing that of a nightingale. Nightingale is a small singing bird which generally sings at night. Chant, it means to sing. Welcome notes, it means soothing song. Weary, it means tired. Band means group of travelers. Shady haunt, it means oasis in Arabian desert. So the poet says that the song sung by the girl is sweeter than that of a nightingale, who used to sing to welcome the tired group of travelers to an oasis in the Arabian desert. The song of the nightingale among Arabians, and the voice so thrilling never was heard. In the springtime, the cuckoo bird, thrilling means excited feeling, having a feeling of excitement. The song of nightingale steals the tiredness of the travelers with its sweetness, yet it is the poet adds, never so sweet as this song sung by the solitary reaper. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides. Hebrides means distant group of island on the northwest of Scotland. So here in this paragraph, the poet compares the song of the solitary reaper to the song of the nightingale, as well as the voice, the thrilling voice or the thrilling voice of the cuckoo bird, which used to sing in the springtime and which used to break the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides. We can hear the exciting voices of both the birds, yet the song sung by the solitary reaper is more pleasing. The poet says that her voice is more pleasing than that of the cuckoo, who sings in spring to remove the desolation of the sea around distant Hebrides. In this paragraph, the mountainous country in the northwest of Scotland is called the Highlands. I would like to mention it. Wordsworth visited this region with Dorothy. Hebrides is a group of islands off the northwest coast of Scotland. Now we move to the next paragraph. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old unhappy far off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again? Will no one tell me what she sings? Wordsworth is unable to ascertain the theme of the Highland girl's song. Perhaps the plaintive. Plaintive means sorrowful. Numbers means song. Flow. Flow means is being sung. For old, unhappy, sad, far off things, distant things, and battles long ago. Or is it more some humble lay? Lay means song. Familiar matter of today, ordinary happenings of everyday life. some natural sorrow, calamities common to men, loss or pain, loss, death, pain, suffering that has been and may be again, which has fallen in the past and is repeated in the future. So, in this paragraph, the poet says that he does not understand the language of the Highland girl. She is singing a melancholic song. Here, the poet imagines that she is singing, maybe she is singing about some historical event such as deadly battles. Perhaps it is about the sorrows and sufferings, which is common fate of all human beings. Death, loss of money, physical ailment, failures, and other such things fill man with cares and anxieties. These unhappy incidents of everyday life, which inevitably befalls mankind, are not uncommon. They have been falling on men since the earliest time and are liable to come in the future. Now we move to the next paragraph of the poem. Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. I listened, motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. Whatever the theme, whatever the subject of the Highland girl, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. It appeared to the poet that the girl would continue singing eternally. The poet says that whatever might have been the theme of the maiden song, the poet was so much fascinated and captivated by its sweet melody that he kept on listening to it with rapt attention, as if her song could have no ending. She is going to sing eternally. I saw her singing at her work. The girl was singing and at the same time reaping the crop, and over the sickle bending. I listened, motionless and still, as I mounted up the hill. Motionless, it means without any movement. As I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. Bore means carried. Long after means long period. The girl's song seemed to endless to him. He was so much overpowered by the melody and music of the girl's song that it seems endless to him. Melody and music of the girl's song that it appears to him that the girl will go on singing forever. Then the poet left. I listened motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, then the poet left the place and climbed up the hill. But the sweet melody of girl's song haunted his mind and heart so much that he could not forget long after it came to an end. He carried in his heart. The music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. Such an experience is very common with Wordsworth due to his uncommon attachment with nature. He had similar experiences in the past also. He tells us the same thing in his sonnet, Daffodils. The music of the maiden song remained permanently enshrined in his mind and heart. The poet seeks imaginative delight in recollecting the music of the maiden in moments of silence at home. So, the language used by the poet is simple. The whole subject of the poem has been treated in easy and simple manner. We can see that not a single word or emotion is forced. The poem glides on like a peaceful stream. The last two lines of the poem depict same idea, that is the music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more, and it show how Wordsworth was capable of creating great beauty out of simplicity. Wordsworth exercises a maximum economy of words to draw a picture of a lonely girl, or the sickle bending, of the nightingale singing in an oasis, or the cuckoo breaking the silence of the seas with its sweet songs. Sweet song. The words used in the poem are important not so much for what they say, but for what they suggest. They reach far beyond their obvious meaning into depths that we can feel but cannot express. So, this is all about the poem The Solitary Reaper, written by William Wordsworth. I hope you like the video. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.